Hey there and welcome back to my channel Study and Prepare with me. I'm your guide and today we will be learn the Prime Minister and the Union Council of Ministers. Prime Minister. Prime Minister is the head of the government while President is the head of the state of the Republic of India. Article 75 says that the Prime Minister shall be appointed by the President. Oath, term and salary. The term of the office of Prime Minister is not fixed and he holds office during the pleasure of the President. However, this does not mean that the President can dismiss the Prime Minister at any time. As long as the Prime Minister enjoys the majority support in the Lok Sabha, he cannot be dismissed by the President. However, if he loses the confidence of Lok Sabha, he must resign or the President can dismiss him. Relation to Council of Ministers. He allocates and reshuffles various portfolios among the ministers. He can ask a minister to resign or advise the president to dismiss him in case of difference in opinion. He can bring about the collapse of the Council of Ministers by resigning from office. Prime Ministers of India from Jawaharlal Nehru to Narendra Modi. You can have this a glance. Relation to the President. Under Article 78, it is the duty of Prime Minister to communicate to the President for all decisions of the Council of Ministers relating to the administration of the affairs of the Union and proposals for legislation. To furnish such information relating to the administration of the affairs of Union and proposals for legislation as the President may call for. If the President requires to submit for the consideration of the Council of Ministers any matter on which a decision has been taken by a minister but which has not been considered by the Council. As the head of the Council of Ministers, the Prime Minister is the head of the government. Also, she or he is the leader of his or party and of a coalition of parties in parliament and usually the leader of the popular house. Ministers get the salaries and allowances etc. as payable to members of parliament. In addition, they get a sumptuary allowances at a varying scale and a resistance free of rent. Appointment of ministers. Ministers are appointed by the President on the advice of Prime Minister. The Prime Minister and other ministers have to be members of either House of Parliament or should become members within 6 months of their appointment, following which they are removed. Oath and salary of ministers. President administers the oath to the ministers. Responsibility of ministers under Article 75. The Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to Lok Sabha for all their acts. So the ministers are collectively responsible to the legislature. They are individually responsible to the president. A minister can take part in the proceedings of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but he or she can vote only if he or she is member of the House. Deputy Prime Minister. The post of Deputy Prime Minister is not mentioned in the Constitution. The Attorney General of India. The Attorney General is the first law officer of the Government of India. Under Article 76, the Attorney General for India is appointed by the President and holds office during the pleasure of the President. He must have the same qualification as required to be a judge of the Supreme Court. The Attorney General for India is not a member of the Cabinet, but he has the right to speak in the Houses of Parliament or in any committee thereof, but he has no right to vote. He is entitled to privileges of a member of Parliament in the performance of his official duties. The Attorney General has the right of audience in all courts in the territory of India. The Comptroller and Auditor General of India, through appointed by the President under Article 148 to 151, the Comptroller and Auditor General can be removed on the ground of proved misbehavior or incapacity. His salary and conditions of service are laid down by Parliament and cannot be varied to his disadvantage or during his terms of office. The term of office of the Comptroller and Auditor General is 6 years from the date on which he assumes office. CIG vacates office on attaining the age of 65 years even without completing the 6 years term. He can resign by writing under his hand addressed to the President of India. His salary is equal to that of a judge of the Supreme Court. The salary etc. of the Comptroller and Auditor General and his staff and administrative expenses of his office are charged upon the Consolidated Fund of India and thus not votable. The main duties of the Comptroller and Auditor General are to audit and report on all expenditures from the Consolidated Fund of India and of each state and each union territory having a legislative assembly as to whether such expenditure has been in accordance with the law, to audit and report on all expenditures from the contingency funds and public accounts of the union and of the states, to audit and report on all trading, manufacturing profits and loss accounts etc. kept by any department of the union or a state. He is an officer of the Parliament and is called Ears and Eyes of the Public Accounts Committee.